Breaking news where I'm back on the road in batshit bonkers Britain, in Scotland to be precise, head of a big show tonight. But things have taken a very serious turn here in the UK and are certainly speeding up at a rate of knots. Now Jewish people banned from football in the UK. Jewish people have been banned from attending a football match in Birmingham in the UK in 2025. This at the behest of Muslims who are in control in that place, in control of the courts, in control of the police, in control of what goes on in that city. This is the West Midlands Police in action again, the second dodgiest police force behind West Yorkshire Police in my personal experience. It does beg the question, what will Jewish people in the UK be verboten, forbidden for doing next? I mean, maybe they won't be allowed on public transport. Maybe their passports could be stamped with the letter J. Maybe men will have to change their name to Israel and women to Zara. I mean, these are just thoughts. But Jewish people in the UK right now should treat every day like September the 1st, 1939, something I've been trying to warn about for 20 years. And which is coming true at a rapid rate of knots. I point the finger at the Board of Deputies and other Jewish organisations who continue to pat the crocodile thinking it won't come for them, because it will. In other news, 7 councils in the UK want to put off democratic elections for another year, a second year, because they know they will lose to reform. Those councils are Norfolk, Suffolk, Essex, Surrey, East and West Sussex and Hampshire. They know they will lose, so they want to put off elections. I mean, truly, what's next? The Great Purge? Although I would argue, of course, that for many of us, that purge is already underway. And finally, on a lighter note, because you can count on me, British TV has a programme called The Traitors. There is a woman on there with the best tits I've ever seen in my life. You could waterboard those boobs from Monday to Friday and there would still be plenty left over. Her name is Charlotte Church. She used to be called Voice of an Angel because she had such a beautiful voice at such a young age. And now, my darling, she has tits of the devil and I am here for it. Well done to you, Charlotte Church. Well done to your norks of porn. And thank you for some light relief here in batshit bonkers Britain.
British commentator Katie Hopkins has once again lit up social media with a new video recorded in Scotland ahead of what she calls a big show tonight. The clip, titled Bonkers Britain, veers between political alarm and dark satire. A Hopkins trademark, but this time the tone is notably more apocalyptic. Hopkins opens by asserting that Jewish citizens have been banned from attending a football match in Birmingham, claim she attributes to police and local authorities acting at the best of Muslims in control of the courts and the city. Without offering verified sources, she frames this as part of a wider national decline, calling the West Midlands Police the second dodgiest force behind West Yorkshire Police. Hopkins then pivots sharply to domestic politics, alleging that 7 UK councils, Norfolk, Suffolk, Essex, Surrey, East and West Sussex, and Hampshire are seeking to postpone local elections for a second consecutive year because they know they will lose to reform. The implication is that the political establishment is deliberately undermining democracy to block the rise of Nigel Farage's Reform UK Party. A populist narrative that Hopkins has repeatedly championed. Hopkins' monologue operates in the same mold as her previous viral commentaries, a blend of populist anger, anti-establishment rhetoric, and deliberate provocation. Her warnings about Muslims in control and the next 1939 echo long-standing themes of cultural siege and government betrayal. While her tone evokes emergency, her factual claims remain unverified and laden with inflammatory generalizations. Yet, her growing audience, especially among disaffected Reform UK supporters, suggests her message continues to resonate with Britons who feel alienated from mainstream politics. Hopkins has turned Britain's divisions into her stage, where fear, humor, and outrage blur into a single narrative. A country on the brink of collapse, and a commentator who insists she saw it coming.
Conservative, how frustrating is it for you to think that that election was lost because the British public didn't necessarily want Keir Starmer and Labour, but they were just so tired of 15 years of Conservatives and they felt that their lives weren't better when that election was held?
I think that's absolutely fair. The public were absolutely right. And this is what I tried to do in 2022, is escape from the doom loop of economic stagnation. And we've been there since the year 2000. Just remember, in the year 2000, the average Brit was roughly as rich as the average American. And you're here in America, Bev. People here are 50% better off now.
Yeah.
The average Brit is poorer than the average person in Mississippi, which is the poorest US state. And we've got it wrong for 30 years. You know, taxes are too high, the government's too big, the welfare state's too big. You know, our energy prices are sky high. You know, we're closing down every serious industry in the country, from steel works to car factories. And you know, we're at the end game of that. And frankly, the Conservatives did not change that. And we didn't, you know, my fundamental critique after fighting all these battles for 10 years as a government minister is we didn't reverse the Tony Blair stuff.
Yeah.
We didn't reverse the Human Rights Act. We didn't reverse the Climate Change Act. We didn't reverse the Equality Act. We didn't reverse the Constitutional Reform Act that gave the judges all the power, and they're completely unaccountable as well now. And you know, the public were absolutely right to give us a massive kicking.
But why do you think that was? Why was there not enough change? What I notice here is Trump has this clear ideology, America first. It underpins all of his decisions. I can't imagine a prime minister in the UK. And to be fair, you were the closest that came to that. You had a really clear vision.
I tried to do that. I tried to turn Britain around. I knew it was going in the wrong direction. But my problem was that I didn't have the support of enough people in the Conservative Party. That's the bottom line, that when the going got tough, when the Bank of England pointed the finger at me, when it was actually their fault, rather than backing me, the Conservative MPs created trouble. And the reason is, you know, and it goes back to the Cameron era, the modernisers, you know, people like Michael Gove, Francis Maude, all these people, they wanted to be the heir to Blair.
Yeah.
They didn't actually want to change any of this stuff. Do you remember that they called Blair the master?
Yeah.
And the problem is those people still held a lot of power in the Conservative Party, and they stopped.
Is Blair still running the country?
Well, I think he is the last Prime Minister that was actually running Britain. And what he did is he handed over huge amounts of power to the Bank of England, to the bureaucrats, to the judges, to the human rights lawyers. And that's why nobody has actually been able to do anything like deport illegal immigrants or stop the net zero nonsense, because you know those pieces of legislation are still there, and fundamentally no one's been prepared to take these people on. And I discovered this. You know, I knew I was always fighting that battle when I was a minister, but when I got to number 10, I realised the way these people have power. They had connections in the mainstream media. They can basically make your life pretty much impossible.
So who